Arsenal continue their impressive run in the Champions League, as they defeated Atletico Madrid 4-0 at the Emirates Stadium, making it 3 wins from 3 games. Let's take a look at the tactical analysis of how Mikel Arteta's men dominated this match. Arsenal lined up in their familiar 4-2-3-1 formation, while Diego Simeone's side set up in a compact 4-4-2 shape, looking to stay organized and hit Arsenal on the counter. When in build-up, Atletico Madrid looked to build from the back slowly, trying to invite Arsenal's press deep into their own half. Both fullbacks, Hanko and Llorente, pushed wide, while Gimenez and Lenormand stayed compact in the middle. The plan was simple. Arsenal were likely to press with 4 players, Gyökeres, Saka, Eze, and Martinelli, against Atletico's back 4. With their defensive line stretched high and wide, Arsenal would have more ground to cover, leaving potential spaces in behind for Atletico to exploit. If Arsenal committed more players into the press, Atletico could go long, launching balls into Sorloth, who could win aerial duels and combine with teammates to attack Arsenal's backline. But Arsenal were fully prepared for this approach. As you can see here, Saka pressed Gimenez, Gyökeres closed down Lenormand, Martinelli tracked Llorente, and Eze followed Koke, leaving Hanko as the only apparent passing option for Oblak. The moment Oblak played the ball to Hanko, Timber immediately sprinted forward to press him, ensuring he had neither time nor space on the ball. At the same time, Saka moved in to support the press while keeping Gimenez in his cover shadow, effectively cutting off Hanko's passing lane. Just like that, Hanko, who initially appeared free, was suddenly trapped in a 2-versus-1 situation with no clear passing route. His only options were to play it long or risk losing possession. More often than not, Arsenal won the ball high up the pitch, allowing them to attack Atletico's backline quickly and with numbers. To counter Arsenal's pressing trap, Diego Simeone's men made a few tactical adjustments. For most parts of the game, Koke dropped deeper into the defensive line to help in the build-up, while both Hanko and Llorente moved slightly higher into midfield, but stayed wide to provide passing outlets for the defenders. Meanwhile, Alvarez dropped deeper to form a midfield 4 alongside Llorente, Barrios, and Hanko, as Simeone Jr. and Gonzalez pushed higher up the pitch, holding the width like traditional wingers. This adjustment effectively transformed Atletico's shape from a 4-4-2 into a 4-4-2-3-4-3, with both Gonzalez and Simeone occupying Arsenal's fullbacks, Timber and Skelly. This left Arsenal with a key decision to make. They could either press Atletico higher up the pitch and risk being outnumbered in midfield, or drop into a compact mid-block and allow Koke, Gimenez, and Llorente more time on the ball. Arteta chose the latter. Arsenal shifted into a compact 4-4-2 defensive shape, with Eze and Gyökeres forming the first line of pressure. Behind them, Saka and Martinelli tucked in to create a solid midfield 4 alongside Rice and Zubimendi, effectively matching Atletico's midfield 4-4-v-4. When building into the final third, Atletico relied mostly on quick switches of play from one flank to the other, or long diagonal balls into the wide areas, aiming for the runs of Simeone and Gonzalez to exploit the space behind Arsenal's high line. However, most of these attacking moves were ineffective, as Arsenal's compact structure limited space and forced Atletico to resort to low-quality crosses that rarely troubled the defense. When Arsenal were in build-up, Atletico Madrid decided not to engage them high up the pitch. Instead, Diego Simeone instructed his players to sit in a compact low-block 4-4-2, focusing on closing the central zones and forcing Arsenal to build through the wide areas. The idea was to make it difficult for Arsenal to progress centrally, where their attacking combinations are most dangerous. In this setup, Koke moved slightly higher to press Eze, while Pablo Barrios was tasked with tracking whichever of Zubimendi or Rice stepped up into the next line. This ensured Atletico always had a defensive presence in front of Arsenal's midfield double pivot. Out wide, Gonzalez and Simeone Jr. focused primarily on blocking passing lanes into Saka and Martinelli, preventing Arsenal's wingers from receiving early and running at the fullbacks. Atletico's back 4 stayed narrow, with Gimenez and Lenormand keeping their line tight to limit any vertical passes into Gyökeres' feet. The plan was to remain compact, absorb pressure, and then break quickly when possession was won. However, Arsenal showed great patience and intelligence in their build-up. Rather than forcing the ball forward, they circulated possession between their defenders, looking to manipulate Atletico's shape and drag their players out of position. To achieve this, Arteta pushed both Timber and Lewis Skelly higher up the pitch. This had a dual effect. It pinned Atletico's wide midfielders deeper and created numerical superiority in midfield. Arsenal's centre-backs, Gabriel and Saliba, then had more passing options to progress play cleanly through the thirds. One of Arsenal's most effective movements came through Eze's positioning. As you can see here, Eze dropped deep to receive the ball from Timber, creating a temporary overload in the first phase of build-up. The moment he received the ball, both Gonzalez and Sorloth were triggered to press him. But that was exactly what Arsenal wanted. Eze's drop drew them out of position, opening a passing lane for Timber. With Gonzalez stepping out and Zubimendi occupying Coke, Timber made a quick forward movement into the vacated space. Eze, under pressure, played a quick 1-2 to release him, and suddenly, Arsenal had broken through Atletico's first line of pressure. From there, Timber had time and space to drive forward into midfield, linking up with Rice or Martinelli on the left side. This kind of rotational movement between the fullback and midfielder became a recurring theme throughout the match. It allowed Arsenal to consistently find progression routes even when Atletico stayed compact. What stood out most in Arsenal's build-up was their discipline and patience. Instead of rushing forward or forcing passes through tight spaces, they relied on intelligent rotations and calm ball circulation to move Atletico's shape around until openings appeared. Each time Atletico tried to adjust by stepping out, Arsenal exploited the gaps left behind. Whether it was Eze dropping deep, Timber advancing, or Rice switching play, Arsenal always seemed one step ahead, constantly manipulating Atletico's defensive structure. This phase of play set the tone for the entire match. Arsenal controlled the tempo, dictated where the game was played, and slowly forced Atletico into deeper and deeper positions, setting the stage for the dominance that followed. In the end, it was another dominant performance from Mikel Arteta's Arsenal. Their structure in possession, discipline out of possession, and intelligent rotations between the lines completely nullified Atletico Madrid's game plan. Arsenal were patient, composed, and clinical, everything you expect from a top European side. Atletico tried to adapt by changing their shape and dropping deeper, but Arsenal's control of the tempo and ability to find spaces between the lines made all the difference. From build-up to final third execution, this was a complete performance, a statement win that keeps Arsenal's perfect Champions League record intact. If Arsenal continue to play with this level of confidence and tactical balance, they'll be a serious contender for the Champions League title this season. If you enjoyed this tactical breakdown, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with other football fans. And don't forget to drop a comment below. What did you think of Arsenal's performance? And who was your man of the match? Your engagement really helps the channel grow and reach more football lovers like you.